So welcome everyone. My topic for tonight is that amazing things can be found within ourselves, especially in meditation. So I actually decided to approach tonight with the idea of welcoming you all and then diving into meditation and seeing what arises, both what arises within me for the class, but also what arises within you. So today's session will be guided by whatever inspiration or clarity comes to me, and then also each of you jumping in with whatever you're feeling inspired to share. I've started the live stream, so if anybody's out there and would like to also contribute, please jump on. I'll be checking the chats. Chibi, have you done meditation before?
Not here. This is my first time.
Welcome. But you have done some forms of meditation? Excellent. Okay, so you get the idea. I'll be doing mostly a guided meditation. There'll be moments for you to dive deeper. I hope that it's self-explanatory for everybody. So let's just dive straight in. I invite you to just get really comfortable. I'm closing my eyes. I'm sitting back. Makes me check in with my feet. For me, I'm putting my feet flat on the ground. Some of you may like to cross your legs or just find a posture that feels stable and calm and steady. And while meditation in itself can just be amazing, I have found that it can be helpful to prime our minds before we start. So I just invite you to imagine this meditation will bring you peace. It will perhaps bring you joy or kindness. Perhaps it will help you to find inspiration or clarity or ease within yourself. If you've studied about mindfulness, you could imagine that the meditation may open you up to new skill levels in how mindful you are and how clearly you direct your attention. Maybe you'd like to feel what it would be like for something amazing or uplifting or easeful to be experienced in the meditation. Okay, so with that intention, let yourself start to just settle into the meditation. Notice as soon as I say that, I slow down my voice and the tone of my voice feels more meditative. So notice your inner voice and shift gears. Make the way you're thinking and experience each moment. Make it feel, make it sound more peaceful. And then bring your attention to your breathing. And each breath you take, let the breath feel more peaceful. Each moment of the breath more soothing, more still. If you've meditated before, perhaps you could remember the moments that felt most spacious or most powerful. What did the frame of mind feel like when all the thoughts had become much clearer? And if you're brand new to meditation, maybe you could imagine what altered states of consciousness could be possible. And then let's go a little deeper into meditation. I just checked in with my body and my shoulders relaxed down. So I just invite you to just scan your awareness across your body. Feel wherever feels good, or feel wherever needs to relax. And just imagine that part relaxing. Guide that part into relaxation. Some kinds of meditation, they say just to let your breathing happen naturally. But just for a little while, I invite us to breathe deeper. Really feel a deep breath in and follow the deep breath out. As you intentionally breathe deeper and intentionally feel the breath, you feel how it's soothing, relaxing your body and your mind. I'll be quiet for a little while as I just let you enjoy feeling each deep breath. Try taking an even deeper breath and enjoy how that feels. And as we keep taking these deep breaths, some of you, your mind will be completely immersed in just feeling the breath, following that intention of peace. With some of you, you can also use it as a chance to practice really noticing every moment of your mind and practice how you guide your mind into the breath, how to make it more focused, how to make it more fully immerse in the breath.
Hey, it's a meditation class if you wanted to join in.
Okay.
Yeah, we were gonna do the hug, but yeah, maniacs all.
If you're in the meditation, you could notice how it is to hear that conversation and then just bring yourself back in the breath. And if you've just arrived, we're just letting ourselves take slow, deep breaths and enjoying the feeling of making each breath feel a little more peaceful. And it's amazing how peaceful it can become. Day-to-day living, normally we might just concentrate on something for a moment. But if you make something for a few minutes, it can become amazing. So peaceful breaths, more peaceful, more peaceful. We can feel kinds of peace that is more beautiful than we ever would normally feel. In the same way, we can do kindness meditation and feel love and care in a way that's more beautiful than we ever would. We can do the same thing with awareness or happiness. But right now, we're choosing to focus on the breath. Intentionally slow, deep breaths, and make each moment of the breath just a little more enjoyable, a little more peaceful, a little more soothing. You could scan across your body again. Feel your arms and legs. Is there any way you could adjust them or let them relax even more? Maybe you feel your shoulders. Maybe feel your face. You can feel your eyes relaxing more. Your jaw relaxing more. Imagine your whole face just looks peaceful. Serenity. Imagine this wave of peace just moving through your whole body. And then your attention moves back into your nose. And just letting yourself continuing to feel the breath. Enjoy the breath. Maybe you'll notice the moments where you guide yourself into more peace. Maybe you'll notice other activity in your mind, learning to be the master of your consciousness, like a master craftsperson, like a wonderful artist, like a brilliant pilot. Watching how you guide your mind, just breathing, but you can infuse peace in your body, you can infuse peace in your feelings, you can make the way that you concentrate feel gentle or feel strong or feel powerful. Just watching how you make each moment of the breath deeper. And for those who just arrived, our only intention here is intentionally slow, deep breaths with our attention on the breath and making each moment of the breath feel soothing, peaceful, relaxing. You may notice, in general, each breath feels just a little better and a little better. You may notice it comes and goes in waves. A little better, and then just okay, and then a little better, and then just okay, and then a little more peaceful. You may notice that it comes in really big waves. You're just breathing, and it's nice, and then suddenly, wow, it's really nice. Just holding your attention on each moment of the breath, curious, excited, exploring your inner peace. And if you've just arrived, we're just focusing each moment on our soothing breath, finding how relaxed, how calm we can be. Each breath you take, each moment of your awareness, just trying to enjoy it. There's the sound of the breath. There's the feeling of the breath flowing. There's the relaxing quality of slow, gentle breathing. There's the magic when you notice that you can take a calming breath or a soothing breath or a happy breath, and you can just infuse beautiful feelings into the breath. Each moment of your breath, go deeper and deeper into the peace. Some of you may have noticed that your mind feels like it's slowed down or it's more spacious. Like the difference between being on a busy street in the city and being out in a field in nature. This spaciousness, this openness, this ease. And if you haven't noticed that, you could imagine what your mind would feel like if all the inner voices just dissolved away, like you were in a vast, open, beautiful field, spacious calmness, ease in your mind. Many people notice that as they go into this more spacious state of mind, it allows positive feelings to impact them more fully. For example, if you're just in a waking mind and I talk about being kind, you just have this little tiny feeling of what kindness is. But many of you will notice that now, when I say kindness, you get a really clear idea of kindness, a really beautiful feeling of kindness. So let's just go back to the breath, back to feeling deeper into meditation with each moment of the breath. But you could also be open that perhaps beautiful ideas or inner transformation may arise within you, and you'll be ready to feel it, to experience it in a way that helps you powerfully and wonderfully. For those of us who've just arrived, our focus is on our nose, intentionally taking slow, deep breaths. Each breath we take, each moment of the breath, just a little more peaceful, a little more soothing, feeling a little more wonderful with each moment of your breath. And you can watch how you steer your mind. For some of you, you may have been sitting longer than you normally would. So I invite you to watch what your mind feels like and imagine it going even deeper. What would it be like to let go of everything in your mind, everything in your consciousness right now? What would it be like if that was all just let go of and you became into an even more deep, profound, still, spacious, beautiful way of being? For some of you, you may like to just keep going deeper and deeper into this stillness, crafting your inner self to be perfect peace, a foundation of absolute equanimity. And some of you may believe that that is what your inner self is, and you're just giving yourself the chance to connect with that so that you can be that all the time. And so if you'd like to go deeper into that, please do. But if you're starting to feel like your mind's been single-pointed for long enough, I invite you to start to imagine or practice being your best self. Think about you and your life, and I'll give you some nice ideas, but you can practice whatever you'd like. So in this time, you could have practiced having more smiles, having more kindness. You could practice your most confident self. You could practice being excellent at your sport. You could practice feeling really creative and expressive. You could practice patience and listening. Anything, any part of you, any part of your life, in this meditative state, it's a beautiful chance to rewire. Let your best self, the you that you would choose, let it have a chance to be practiced and get bigger. You may like to prompt yourself, ask yourself, what would really help me? What change in feeling or change in habit would really help me? And then you can just meditate on that question and see what arises. I'm talking now to the part of you that is as inspired as you could be. The part of you that is the way the universe is meant to be. The part of you that is free to think and feel anything. That part of you. Guide this meditation. Be bright, be strong. Feel wonderful. Make it that every other part of you just has to look at this light within you. Shine so bright, feel so good. Breathe intentionally deeper. Use that as an anchor to go more into wherever your meditation is taking you. And perhaps you've felt something wonderful, or had a really good idea, or the glimpse of something you know is wonderful. And I invite you to set the intention that you want to spend more time in those good feelings. You want to grow them. All these insights, these transformations, you want to keep practicing it every day until you've become that and more. If you spend time in this meditation each day, these positive feelings will become more natural and more automatic and more vibrant and more beautiful. And for the last part of the meditation, I just invite you to think of everybody sitting here in the temple. And imagine if you could feel all of their meditations. Some of them were much more peaceful. Some of them had much more beautiful feelings. Some of them had amazing ideas. There were some things about your meditation that were so special. Just take deep, powerful breaths as you feel the special things about everybody's meditation. Caring for other people, inspiring one another, encouraging one another. And when you're ready, you can start to look around and just maybe give a nod to other people or a smile. If they don't have face tracking, you could imagine them smiling back. You can feel the peace that each other has cultivated. You can imagine perhaps they had some really nice feelings or something that would be really helpful in their life. I invite you to try and connect with at least 4 different people here in the temple. And one thing that I've seen is so helpful for people's own meditation practice, but also for communities, is after a meditation, reflect upon it, but intentionally remember the good moments. So that when you think of your meditation, you think of how you got into the good feelings, or you remember how peaceful it was. You're setting yourself up that your meditation just gets better and better every time. And then as a community, if we share our nice moments, then together we help all of our meditations feel better. So I guess I could start. In my meditation, one thing I really liked was when I said scan our body. I just really noticed there was lots of muscles that I could have let go of more. And just by moving them a little bit, my body felt really good. So that was one of many things I noticed, but that's something I'm going to share now. And I encourage you to just think of some of your nice moments, or maybe even some of your great moments, and we're just going to share with one another. Django, what's on your mind?
Just want to say that I feel the overall experience taken away from this is just a quiet and accepting and friendly space overall. A lack of judgment here, a lack of drama. It seems that there's a lot more. It's a lot more in tune here. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
We're very happy to have you here, and I hope that you're not just feeling it here in the space, but you're feeling all of that in yourself too. And that was a really beautiful thing to share, so thanks.
Yes.
That's a great way to get us started. Wonderful. Would someone else like to share?
Yeah, no problem.
Fluffy?
Yes. After all that, I could actually feel Maniac's presence in that moment during our meditation. I could feel his presence all the way from here, and that just felt very warm and welcoming. I could feel him meditate through that. And I
I
just
didn't even know
felt
you're here, but that's awesome.
Yeah, just the energy from him just makes me feel good. Everything about him makes me feel good.
That's awesome. I'm just showing on the camera that you guys are 2 cushions apart, or perhaps 200,000 miles apart. We don't really know, but it's wonderful that you can inspire each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Fluffy.
You're welcome.
Maniac, would you like to share?
Well, I had like a profound experience, not gonna lie. I felt like my consciousness was expanding beyond this virtual room, and then all the way throughout the planet, and like waves of light were just like emanating around the whole planet, and I was just in tune with it all, and it just felt amazing. Very powerful.
No wonder Fluffy could feel you.
Oh yeah, for real.
That's great. Thank you so much. Can you tell us more? Like, what was the feeling of the waves that you were seeing?
Yeah, like just full of gratitude and peace and joy, mostly joy. It was a very fun experience to witness and feel. It was just a lot of joy energy.
So it amazes me that in meditation sometimes we get these amazing visuals and feelings, and I would really love to turn these into like music videos or VR experiences so that other people
Yeah,
can
very cool.
see and feel a glimpse of what meditation can bring us. So I hope as a
Yeah, you can
team,
like visualize it.
absolutely, as a team, maybe we could make some of those things together sometime. Or perhaps you're a designer or VR creator, Maniac, or someone here is. I know I've had
And
some wonderful visualizations that I'd also like to share with
Yeah.
others.
big shout out to Django
Funny, yeah.
he helped me unlock my third eye recently, and my meditations have been way stronger after that. So thanks
That's
a lot.
good.
Yeah, no
Mm.
problem, man. Fine.
Can I ask what was that practice, or what were the ideas that you did in that session?
Yeah, so one of
So,
the
yeah,
biggest
yeah, go for it.
you can I'll tell it, yeah. So one of the biggest things was when you're breathing out, you kind of imagine like it's going through the third eye as well, like a mouth on your forehead. Sounds kind of weird, but when you do that, it will definitely like activate that muscle, like the pineal gland. And just imagining that will trigger the effects and make them stronger.
So to any real skeptics in the room, I just want to point out that one possible, materialistic scientific explanation for that is that when you imagine far out weird things, especially if you believe that it's happening, it allows your imagination to kind of step out of what you think is normal and experience these things you're imagining. And there are also non-materialistic mystical explanations for it. I like to have that foundation of the most skeptical explanation, which people can then explore or build on top of. But yeah, one thing I found, even though I try to live as completely scientific and like neuroscience based as possible, sometimes letting my imagination just go wild and feeling waves of love go around the world, the way that impacts me or inspires me or makes me feel for days is beautiful beyond what my words would be able to capture. So Django, thanks for opening Maniac up to being able to have more amazing experiences, and thank you for sharing Maniac. One thing I also want to share is sometimes I've had people say to me after a session, oh, I had the most amazing thing happen, and when it was sharing time, I couldn't share such a far out thing. But I want to say that when people share these beautiful experiences, it's great. So whether the things that happen to you are just a nice feeling or a little beautiful moment, that's great. Or if it was something wild, that's great too. I really want these sharing moments for just everybody to just share whatever nice things there was for you.
And it's just awesome how Fluffy Mind should tune in. Like, I truly think all consciousness is connected. That should be proof right there.
Oh yeah. Oof.
Manstill, could you share a nice moment from your meditation? All right, we're getting some thumbs up, so it was good. Excellent.
Towards the end of the meditation, while you were bringing us closer to consciousness, you mentioned something about feeling other people's meditation and what they were manifesting. And I don't know who it was, if it was more than one person, but one thing, it was so beautiful. I felt it from here. Somebody was meditating about world peace. I heard that like very clearly. It was just amazing.
Well, you were meditating on that, weren't you, BG Maniac?
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
Was anyone else meditating on world peace?
I love that.
So, again, speaking to any material skeptics in the room, I'm definitely not advocating for psychic powers. It may just be beautiful that when we think of a group of people doing awesome things, we kind of imagine the same sort of stuff. But it's beautiful that we can have these kind of feelings. Just by thinking about others, we can find this inspiration and care with each other. And Tara, was there anything you'd like to share from during the meditation for yourself?
Well, at first it was kind of hard for me to like focus, but once I got into it, the energy that I was feeling throughout the whole room was very, very radiant and very like amazing. That's the best way to describe what I was feeling. Wonderful.
So I have a thought for everybody. If you notice, Tara said at first it was, I don't remember the word you said, but then once you got into it, there was this amazing feeling. So I invite everybody, when you think about meditation, instead of thinking of like it being tricky to get into at the start, just remember, hey, it gets me into this beautiful place. And if you just put your focus into that, then those beautiful feelings come easier and more quickly. So, Tara, next time you think of meditation, I hope you just purely remember those wonderful feelings. And the next time you sit, you just bring your attention into there, and you probably won't have the same feelings. You don't expect to recreate exactly the same thing, but you're just excited, wow, I'm going somewhere beautiful. And you become the navigator of your consciousness, and you get better and better at directing it towards amazing things.
Absolutely.
Anomalous entity, do you have a moment or a thought you'd like to share?
Not really. I just enjoying feeling my breath.
Well, that's a great thing to share. Yeah, enjoying feeling your breath. We're breathing all the time, so being able to make each breath enjoyable is a definite infusion of enjoyment into our life. So thank you for sharing. I'm curious, when I prompted people to ask yourself what's something that would be really helpful for you, or what would be most helpful for you. After holding that question for a while, I had a really strong answer, and then I was practicing that for a while. So what came to me was that there's so many projects and things I'd like to do, and I want to be really excited about the central one, which is instead of just doing anything what catches my attention, I've been starting to write out all my projects and get them organized. And the meditation took me to a place feeling really excited about following my most productive priorities. And it just was this really strong feeling of how I could organize my day, or the kind of things I want to do to achieve more. And when I say achieve more, I want to create stuff that makes the world a more amazing place. So that was what came to me when I asked myself that question, what would help me most? I'd love to hear some of the ideas or images or feelings you had for that question. Bootylicious?
Nothing particular really. I feel like this session is just kind of glad to be back because I wasn't last week. So I'm kind of just
All right, so it's important for you to come every week.
yeah.
Awesome. BG, did I see you? You had something come up when I asked that question?
Oh, about what we can come up with? Yeah, for me. It's more so about what I can get rid of, like all the bad thoughts, the negative energy, the addictions, the vices. You get rid of all those, then you're golden.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And
So,
sometimes those are the thoughts that like to come in the beginning when you're trying to get into the meditative, the intrusive thoughts.
could you say that again, please, Chibi?
Better?
Yep.
Oh, I was saying that those negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts, are usually what I have to deal with when I'm trying to get into meditation. And I think it's great because you can acknowledge that they're there, but then you mentally push them out of your mind, at least for me.
Mm.
awareness alone will do that. Yeah, just becoming aware of
Yeah.
things enough.
I hope for you that you will meditate often enough that it retrains your mind, that those thoughts actually just fade away entirely. And BG, I wanted to share in response to what you said. I used to have some addictions and some anger, and the idea of being golden, or just like envisaging yourself as this wonderful being, can replace those. And then I also had specific things. So I would meditate each day on being really healthy, and then I loved saying no when someone offered me a cigarette. Or for anger, I meditated on compassion every day and thought and felt and practiced what it's like to have kindness and love for everybody. So I hope that the image you just had of being golden, just letting go of all that stuff, that just drives you into being that awesome golden self. And if you also ever want to strengthen transforming any of those in particular, you can create what is the alternative to that thing and meditate on it, and it will transform that part of you.
Definitely, man. And it's a lot easier to get to that state here, I gotta say, than when I'm doing it like solo. So thank you for the consistency with all the classes, man.
This is what it's all about. Yeah, if we help each other, we all get to be happier and stronger and wiser, faster together. Would anyone else like to share? Chef is back?
Yeah, I would say probably something that came to mind when you mentioned like something to improve your life was probably like, I guess I was thinking about like the things that I want to do. I was thinking about how there's this sort of like idealist kind of thing that I want, where it's a little bit wishful, but it's like I wish I could just set my mind at something, and then I could really do it as easily as I could do anything that I find very easy to do that I wouldn't really find to be the most reasonable thing to do. Maybe it's like, maybe something as easily as like idling or something like that. But then I was thinking about kind of the biggest obstacle to that. And I find myself maybe a lot of times just kind of forgetting about things. Where a lot of times I would just find myself, I guess, where if the thought occurred to me, I probably would have changed my behavior right then. But then I kind of like, I kind of like lose track of things sometimes, and then something comes to me then. And maybe I need some sort of like mindfulness like sort of alarm, or some sort of like something to like alarm me, or just something to remind me, really. Kind of like this meditation where you're kind of reminded a lot, and that's very helpful.
Wonderful. So many things I could say about what you've said so far. Can you hold the other points? I would love to hear them. But one thing many people find is if they do breathing meditation every day, somehow, just throughout the day, this reminder just gets trained into their brain. Just every now and then they take a breath and they're like, whoa, I'm awake and I'm conscious. Whoa, I'm going to make this moment good. And so doing breathing meditation each day is actually a wonderful way to set yourself up to just continually have this reminder to be as conscious as possible. And then one other thing I wanted to say about what you said so far, this idea of like you wish you could do things as easily as the easy stuff. I've had I'm so glad you reminded me of it, because I've had some times where I had exactly the same idea and then I brain programmed myself into it. I remembered the stuff that I did it effortlessly and how easy that felt and how good it felt. And then I started to think of the important things I had to do and just practiced in my mind doing them that easily. And I did that every day and I got really excited. Hey, I'm reprogramming myself that the big stuff happens easily. And in the following month, I got 2 offers to do PhDs because I wrote to professors that I thought were amazing, and a bunch of other cool stuff just happened that I had been putting off. But I think I only did that visualization for a few weeks, and I found visualizations to really stick probably take about a month. So I'm so glad you reminded me of it, because I think I'm going to combine that with the thing that arose for me of like being really clear about my top priorities, and then combining it with it feeling super fun and easy. So thank you. Now, I hope it was worth me jumping in to respond to the stuff you've already said. I'd love to hear what else you were saying.
Oh, and then I got kind of reminded of other instances where I do happen to remember, and something like that happens, and then I guess sometimes I'd feel this sort of like conflict where I'd keep wanting to do the same thing that I was already doing, where I wouldn't want to do something else instead. And then I would feel, it reminds me of that like saying where it's like, well, let me be free of desire, but like not yet, like just in like a little bit or something like that.
Yeah.
But then I'm also, this reminds me of like,
can I respond to that bit? Chef is back. Yeah. So one way of looking at that is you've become mindful of like the thing you think is important, but then you're doing this other thing. And to put it into maybe Buddhist words is you're actually attached to the thing you're doing now. Like you want to do this. This is where my attention is. This is where my feelings are. And so even though some part of you has glimpsed, hey, I know doing this would be better, we don't have the ability to just let go of that attachment and go over to this other thing. And then there are 2 things I'd like to say that can be very helpful to everybody. One is spending time thinking about the idea of letting go of attachments, whether it's being caught up in what you're doing, or whether it's like wishing something hadn't changed, or wishing something had gone a different way. Whenever you are able to notice, hey, my brain's attached to something, and then just thinking, wow, letting go of that will take my life to a better level. This just continually thinking of this idea of attachment and letting go of attachments makes you good at letting go whenever you notice your mind's kind of stuck on something or your feelings are stuck on something. So,
and you'll feel relief, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like a weight off your shoulders. So letting go of something, or it makes, there could be some feeling or some issue you've like have been caught up in and tangled in, and it's been taking up space in your mind. And if you let go of it, you just feel more spacious, like a weight off your shoulders, more energy, more room for goodness to flow through you that was blocked before. Whatever metaphor or analogy works for you. But yeah, definitely this feeling of letting go. Whether it's like, hey, I'm just want to like, I don't know, scroll through these memes, or something I've been attached to that's been hard and difficult for years. Both of them, there's this process of the feeling of letting go that as you practice just helps you with all of them. And some of the bigger things can happen straight away, But if you keep practicing letting go of attachments, you'll find it even gets easier, like easy to let go of the big things. So yes, the idea of noticing attachments and the feeling of letting go of them, something for all of us to practice. And breathing meditation, as I recommended doing every day, can also be wonderfully helpful for that. I'm focusing on my breath. Oh, but what about the bird over there? Oh, that sounds nice, rah, rah, rah. And then my brain is like caught into that. And the practice of noticing that and then coming back to the breath is the practice of letting go. And if you're doing that over and over and over again for 5 minutes in the morning, you get so good at just letting go of the stuff that's not most helpful and going into the stuff that you choose. So breathing meditation with the intention of single-pointed laser-like focus can be wonderful for noticing where your mind is and being able to just take it to what's most helpful and letting go of the other things. All right, Chef is back. Wait, let's just take a moment, everybody, to let that sink in. The idea of letting go of attachments. Keep talking about it, keep thinking about it, read about it, and in your breathing meditation, practice in the breath, and letting go of anything else that happens and learning to bring yourself into the breath as instantaneously as you can. It's a profoundly life-changing, super helpful tool for all of you. All right, everybody soak that up enough? Excellent. Chef is back. What was the next thing you were going to say?
You took a little bit of the words out of my mouth.
Hey,
Actually.
let's
But,
hear him.
I guess I was thinking it was, I was gonna say kind of like with how you said with attachment actually was, it was, even though I was remembering this time, I was also still kind of, not fully remembering. There was something I was still like I failed to remember or something, and it was like, it's like my fist was still getting like, it was still clenched, but then I unclenched maybe like a couple fingers, but then there's still a couple fingers still clenched. And I think about how I guess it could be seemingly so easy just to realize that whatever thing is happening right now isn't really as important to me as whatever thing that I wanted to do next. And then it kind of makes me kind of laugh because it's like I'm remembering, but I'm still forgetting. And then I remember that again. And then it's like a layered, something layered that's getting remembered. And it reminds me a lot of how, we're just thinking about it now actually, how this feels very similar to like, something like regret or something, where we could get so caught up with the regret itself, but then we could fail to kind of notice that we've noticed it in the first place. And with that, we could see how happy we are knowing that we've even made something that we like have realized right now. And looking at like regret or something like that, it feels, I could just picture how easy it is to just feel kind of thankful for that. Or feel like this isn't really that big of a deal anymore, or this isn't really that like important, I guess. Or there's something else that I'd rather do. And I feel like a lot of times people have kind of disconnect from what they want to do versus what they kind of feel is the most reasonable thing to do. And then there could be those moments that feel like, oh, this is really nothing, or and it feels very, it makes me feel almost kind of silly or something, but it's also kind of funny in a way.
I would like to generalize that out for everybody. Let me know if what I say sounds, if I have captured the idea you're sharing. So something's happened and you can reflect upon it and regret that you didn't go a certain way, or you can like appreciate, hey, wow, I had the realization. And to generalize that for every one of us, in every moment, in every situation, the way that you feel about something or respond to something, it's really vast, the possibilities. You know, in the breathing meditation we started with, I said, hey, make it a relaxing breath or a strong breath or a breath of equanimity. Like, it's amazing that just in this moment of breathing, you can completely change how it feels. And in the same way, if you're having a conversation with someone, the way you respond to what they said can be with kindness or anger or judgment or love or laughter or playfulness. And when you're reacting to the conversation you're having with yourself, it can be regret or excitement or inspiration or love. So in every moment of our life, reminding ourselves that we get to choose how we think about and how we relate to things and ourselves and others is a beautiful gift. And just keep reminding yourself of that. Just try and practice seeing things or feeling about things in different ways, so you flex that muscle, that you're more able to just step into different perspectives. Chef is back. Did that sound like a good generalization of what you're saying?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, it's like it's hard. It's maybe impossible to control our thoughts, and maybe even impossible to really see how we react to them too, where we might be very reasonable in unreasonable circumstances, and vice versa. And then, but we could take this moment to kind of realize, kind of like more reasonable approach, where if we react towards something that normally makes us feel like anxious or like angry or something, and then realize that we don't really need to feel that way, or realize that they didn't make me feel this way this time or something.
So I want to jump in.
And then
You just said it may be impossible to control our thoughts, but I actually want to say that, going back to breathing meditation, if you practice every moment on the breath, and then, your mind's wandered, and then you come back to the breath, every moment your mind's wandered, and then 20 seconds you come back to the breath. That's like what you were saying. You notice what happened, and then you can kind of laugh about it and think about it differently. But if you keep practicing, you notice before you even finish the first sentence of your thought. And you keep practicing, and you notice before you even finish the first word of a thought. And then you keep practicing, and you can even cut the first word in half. And then you keep practicing, and you can even notice when your brain is starting to put a thought together. So this laser-like, single-pointed meditation helps your brain learn how to actually see what your thoughts are thinking and actually direct your consciousness. So yeah, I am talking like maybe an hour of breathing meditation a day for some months, but it is possible to get to that point where you are aware of what your mind is doing and you are able to direct it. But even if you're not going to do an hour a day for some months, even doing 5 minutes a day, we get better at seeing faster. So as the chef is back was saying, is you have some thought, you have some reaction, and then quite quickly you're like, oh, hey, that's a bit funny. I'll have a different reaction. So the more we train ourselves to like quickly step into this awareness, the better, the more liberating, the more free, the more wonderful. And I'd like to get every one of you to envisage what you'd be like if you were in that awake state all the time. And the more you envisage that, feel that, think about what it's like to be like that, the more your brain will operate like that. And the more you practice single-pointed breathing meditation, the more fine-tuned your awareness and control of it becomes.
And Neil, you did mention when you are in the higher states, it's much easier to sustain the better frequencies and energies. It gets much easier the higher you already are. It's only hard at first. So throughout the months, it will get much easier.
Absolutely. Let me translate that to skeptics or hardcore scientists in the room. So when you've calmed down all the random activity of the mind and you've gone into a state of peace or clarity, it's then much easier to notice when the noise starts to activate up. Or, as BG Maniac was saying, if you're in the higher states and the positive energy, so if you've been practicing love and kindness or world peace or inspiration, and those parts of your mind are just woo, woo, like those networks in your brain are just active all the time, then the thoughts and the feelings that are lined up with those parts of your brain are obviously already ready to fire. And if you're like, oh, I'm in love with the universe and everything's awesome and I have strength for everything, and then there's some thought that's like, no, I'm not. Like, that thought's just going to be overpowered by the awesomeness. So
it gets wrecked.
Yeah. So just like when someone's fired up lots of the negative things, they have to work really hard to grow the positive stuff, or they have to come to a meditation and be guided there. You can do the same thing in the positive version. You make your awesomeness, your strength, your confidence be just so fired up in your brain that that's the stuff that's happening automatically. Thanks, BG.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. I just noticed that there's loads of discussion happening here on the live stream. So I'm going to read it out so that everyone here also feels like they're part of it. So Sonia said, sounds like a great meditation, everyone. Oh, they arrived just as we were finishing. And Marliese responded, Sonia, hi, you can come back and re-watch the meditations on the YouTube channel. And Sonia says, thanks. And then they're sending each other meditation emojis. And then Merck says, hey, they've joined late as well. And asked the schedule. So when does this happen? So we start these sessions at 5 o'clock California time, or what is that, Pacific time. So it's 8 o'clock New York time. It's 9:30 a.m. Adelaide, Australia time. So yeah, every week that's when we come into the temple, and the live stream starts around that. For those of you here in VR, I'd love it if everybody came 5 minutes early so we get to like hang out and have a moment just us. And then we get to like come into the temple together. Yep. So, and Hello Merck says only Mondays. So at the moment, I'm only running the classes on Mondays. And then in our community, there are other teachers who do other classes sometimes, but I think Mondays is the only really regular one. And then Marliese mentioned that the community has a Discord. And you can find that Discord by going to bit.ly, so bit.ly/VR Sangha. Sangha is like the Pali word for a community that helps each other be awesome. So a place where people encourage each other, help each other be more mindful, help each other with positive thoughts, help each other live the best life possible. So that word is Sangha. So bit.ly/Sangha will take you to the Discord where we put them in the announcements channel. Yeah, there we go. That's caught up on everybody here in the live stream. Sorry it took me a while to check. We were just so engaged here. So please, I invite you all, get a VR headset. Come to the temple. It's great. VR's awesome. I'm going to turn the camera on to everybody here in VR. Can you guys all just send out some love hearts or thumbs ups or whatever you feel about VR? Oh, Fluffy.
That's the wrong one. That was the wrong one.
Yeah. And for those of you who haven't experienced VR, sitting here and just having emojis fly around you, it's hilarious and it's magical and beautiful. So you're all invited. Awesome. All right, let's.
You left no stone unturned, man. Good job.
Thank you. It's really lovely to hear. I think it's time for us to all take a couple of deep breaths together. As BG just said, we covered a lot of stuff. So I want you to take a few deep breaths, let your thoughts and feelings settle, and then try and remember or feel whatever parts you thought seemed most helpful for you. All right, so I'm going to finish with a guided meditation, trying to include lots of the awesomeness that we covered. Is there anyone with any pressing last minute questions or things you really want to share? All right, let's jump.
Can we do a single point meditation or?
I'll definitely include a lot of that, yes.
Awesome.
All right. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of relaxation to get us into meditation. I'll throw around a lot of the nice ideas from today, and then we'll finish with a single pointed meditation. So everybody get in a really nice posture. Actually, I want you to dive into a strong posture. If your legs are crossed, cross them in a way that feels strong. If your feet are flat on the ground, get your legs like really strongly planted in the ground. Pull your spine up, pull your shoulders up and back, and then let them relax down. Pull your head up, close your eyes, energize the body, like activate all the muscles like you're just pulling yourself up into the air, and then just let them relax and settle down into a way that sits really, really nicely. And then taking a really strong deep breath in and enjoy breathing out. And then a really gentle deep breath in and really enjoy breathing it in. And enjoy breathing it out. If you were here for the opening meditation, just enjoying each breath, making each moment feel better and better. And try to make each moment just enjoying the breath as beautifully as you can. Or if you notice your mind's off a little bit, try to notice that as quick as you can and feel what it's like to come back into feeling good in your breath. A quick body scan lets your whole body relax more, everything feels better. The next breath feels delightful and soothing and good. We had some ideas today of just enjoying our breath. Being really grateful to be here with each other. Waves of love and positivity filling the room, shining out through each other, bigger than the room, out through the world. Your positivity and your kindness being felt by other people. And if you are a skeptic and don't believe that you could send out positive vibes for people to feel them, imagine how strong you would have to send it for them to feel it. Imagine if everyone in the world would take some time each day to feel world peace, to fill themselves up with love and kindness and confidence and happiness. You could imagine just giving the whole world a hug. And if your hands have come into a hug, just let them settle back down. And then we're going to move into some single-pointed breathing meditation. So notice where your attention is. Maybe it was in your arms and your hands. But I invite you to bring your attention physically into your nose. Feel the breath coming in and out. And if there's any moment that your mind moves somewhere else, just bring it back into the nose. And notice where your mind is in time. Is it right now? Or are you thinking about some other moment? So I invite you to fully come into right now. Now, now, now. Inside your nose, now, now. Every moment of the breath, your attention is just enjoying the breath. And while you keep feeling that spatial and time in the nose now, you can also feel the physical sensations of the breath. The cool breath in, the warm breath out, the way the breath rolls a little with turbulence along the skin, how it slows down and speeds up at each part of the breath. Feel every moment of the breath. And hear the breath. Hear how it changes every moment. Listen so closely to every little sound. So I've been describing that point right now, feel it, hear it, that point right now. And as I have some time which is quieter for longer, just watch how you hold yourself in that spot. Imagine your consciousness if everything else had disappeared And all that existed was just the sound of the breath, the feeling of the breath, in that single point in space-time. If you notice yourself thinking any words, turn your thoughts into the sound of the breath. Then let your concentration rest for just a moment, and imagine if you kept practicing this, that you would notice everything in your consciousness. If your conscious mind was normally like a little torch inside your mind, practicing this would turn it into a sun that illuminates your whole consciousness, and that you can direct it all into this single point, be able to see everything that's happening in your mind. And then continue breathing, feeling your consciousness being empowered, more aware. This single point now. Feel it, hear it, this single point. Noticing whatever's in your consciousness right now, and just letting go of all of it, and just going back to just the breath. We'll have 3 more breaths. And then you can positively reflect upon your meditation. Remember the nice moments, or the ways you learn to guide your attention. When you think about you meditating, think about how good it feels and the way that you can go into it really nicely. And then when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes. So Hello Merc asked if there's a way to have a 10-hour loop of these meditations, and I guess the way would be to make a playlist. I have about 100 videos from the temple, each 1.5 hours long, so it's 150 hours you could have of these classes. Even more if you go and look up the other classes from the other teachers that have been captured on the other channels. And even for those of you who don't want a 10-hour loop, I definitely encourage you to meditate every day and try many different sources. I've tried really carefully to refine these classes to only have things that are beneficial and not include anything that might distract or confuse. So I encourage you to listen to these meditations and classes as much as possible. And when you listen to other classes, try to find the most beautiful gems, the strongest, most empowering perspectives, and bring them and share them here. And please, any goodness that you learn here, please go and share that wherever you go. So I'm going to finish with our closing dedication, and I hope you've all had a wonderful time. And so let's just stand for our dedication. I'm going to say the dedication as I feel fit. I invite you to just think or consider whichever parts of this you would also like to consider, or even say it in your own words. So let's just take a moment to reflect that you gave a gift to yourself, and then it's precious. You might think of it like sowing seeds in a garden. And I invite you to dedicate that these seeds are precious and they can become amazing. And to water those seeds, to meditate each day, to keep your thoughts and attention on beautiful feelings, and to think of yourself in empowering and awesome ways. Let's just take a deep breath into that. And let's expand that wave of positivity out a little wider and think of the whole community here, to encourage each other to meditate together, to give kind words to each other, to help each other notice how we're thinking, and to create more empowering, more positive skills and perspectives. Let's take a deep breath into that. And then imagine the other people in your life, and that you can give them kindness. You can be peaceful around them, and for some of them that peace will rub off. For some of them you may be able to show them relaxing moments or insights into how we talk to ourselves and how we can make that more empowering. So imagine the whole bubble around you. You're filling the lives of the people around you with empowerment and kindness and good feelings. Let's take a deep breath into that. And then imagine if everyone in the world was doing that. If everybody just stopped and let go of anything from the past and just decided, let's live the world the way it's meant to be. Everybody choosing their most expressive, wonderful self. Everyone choosing love and kindness for all beings. Everyone choosing confidence and peace and support. Let's take 5 breaths as we imagine that world. And then see how you giving kindness and empowerment to those around you is a giant step towards that world. And you giving yourself breathing meditation, positivity, encouragement every day is a giant step towards that world. Dedicate to yourself how precious it is to encourage yourself to cultivate beautiful states of mind and to do it awesomely. Be a superhero of goodness, that you can shine it to others, that we can make the world as it is meant to be. Let's take 5 deep breaths into that.
I'm gonna go to bed. Good night, Frida.
May we dream positivity. May we live positivity. May we breathe empowerment. May we think kindness and compassion. May our words be chosen. May our feelings be chosen. Now, for those of us who are here, I invite us to walk out, and as you go out, have a moment with the enlightened being. Find the most enlightened, awesome being within yourself or within everyone, and just have a moment together, and then we'll meet out in the field. For those of you on the live stream, thank you for being here. I invite you also to just finish with a little moment. Imagine the most enlightened, most mindful, awesome consciousness you can imagine. Be with that you. Dedicate to the enlightened being within all of us.